Hey Dorothy, so I got your message that your return method still isn't doing what you wanted. So let's take a look. As we figured out last time that we needed to put double equals here so that this will evaluate to a Boolean, a true or false, and that'll decide if the next thing gets called. But you're not seeing anything returned, or you're not getting anything returned when you call this method. So let's take a look at what's going on here. So what do we have? So one thing I noticed, usually when you're working with numbers, you want to use either like ints or floats or doubles, something like that. So if you look at this, is from Appendix B, towards the back of the book, and if you look at like the char type is really used for like single display characters. So a string is made up of a bunch of char characters, char things put together. Okay, you can, it will work as a number, but it's less. It's, I don't know. It's just as a readability, from readability point of view, I would make this be an int. And then let's see. Well, what do we want to happen? What we want to happen is that when we call returned method, what? Something gets printed out or something gets returned, one or the other, right? So one thing we could do is we could put a bunch of well, let's look. This is how I would debug it. Okay, let's see what's happening here. So you can have, I don't know if you have these numbers at the side. There's a preferences, and on the Mac it's the preferences thing. There should be something similar if you're on Windows. If you look right here, there's under the editor tab, there's a checkbox to display line numbers. If you have that checked, then the line numbers will show up over here. And then what I do is to see what's going on is click on one of the numbers, and that puts this little stop sign. That's a break point. So you'll see if you, when we compile and run this, I'll stick in like 120 here, say OK, and let's call our return method, and let's say 1 for balance. Okay, so right here it says if returned equals 1. Now see, here we can say int returned equals 1. If you had left this as a character, you wouldn't be able to see what the value was, because 1 does not translate into a printable character. Okay, it's a so basically there's this ASCII system. If you Google ASCII, ASCII, it'll explain about, you know, how numbers get translated into characters. Probably Wikipedia is a good place for that. But anyhow, because you have int, now we can see that the input, this variable returned, is equal to 1. So let's take another step here, and it says, okay, well, return value was equal to 1, so that evaluated to true. So now we're going to go into get balance. We step in there. We return the balance. What does it say the balance is right now? It says the balance is 0, so it's going to return that balance. And then we don't do anything with it. We don't print it out, we don't return it or anything like that. So nothing happens. Okay. So what could we do about that? Well, there's a couple of things we could do about that. We could, if we could just say, we could just put return statements in here. Let's see what that looks like. Compile it. What does this say? Oh, get balance is void, so that's not going to return anything. Oh wait, get balance is. Oh, this is a void. Yeah, we're going to have to make this a int, right? Found a double required an int. Okay, let's make it a double. Let's see if that works. Missing a return statement. Ah, so here we have to return something, right? So let's say just here we can say return double. I think there's such a thing as min value for double. Let's see what that's. Yeah. So there's this. See, notice this is double with a lowercase d. This is double with a capital D. There's actually a class. There's a primitive type called double, and there's also a class called double. They're two different things. Class library. So if we look up double down here, this one. Okay, so this is a class, but there's this thing called, there's, max value, min value, right? And what min value does is it returns a double, lowercase d double, that's the smallest possible non-zero value of type double. Okay, so that's just something you can do to just pick a value that something's weird if you get a min value. So basically, in the case where there's nothing to return, we'll return a min value. Okay, so that's one thing you could do. Let's see what that looks like. Ticket 20. Okay. And now if I say return method, if I say 1, it returns the balance. Yeah, that's that guy. If I say return method 2, that's going to be the price, and that's going to be 120. Okay. And notice it's going to return everything as a double since that's how we declared it. But anyhow, so that's one thing you could do. Another thing you could do if you wanted, if you wanted to leave this as a void, you could use your system.out.println and do stuff like your balance is get balance, or ticket price is get price. Okay, now, I don't know if you've seen this plus before. This is concatenation, so this means mush together whatever you get, whatever this comes out to, mush it together with this string and print out that whole string. So we can do a similar thing here. And then we don't need this return. And what do we want? Oh, this is percentage. Oops, what did I do? Left out. Okay. Say return method now, and say return price, now it prints it instead of having the box come back. So either one of those, hopefully at least one of those is what you were looking for. And also in future, you know, if I send you something and it's still not quite what you wanted, you know, go ahead and shoot me back an email right away. You don't need to wait like for weekly updates. But anyway, I hope that helped, and if you have any more questions, shoot me another email.